everybody. Normally this is when we say, hey Pete. Let's try it again. Hey everybody.
Hey Pete.
That's much better. Welcome back to Geek Speak and Junk. So today what I wanted to do is go over and show you what actually goes into me taking some of my pictures and how I get the effects that I get. So right now I'm putting together one of the dioramas that Tiffany has made for me, and I'm just setting the stage. I found a long time ago that backgrounds really make a difference. So if you don't have a realistic set for them to be in, they're simply not going to come to life. So one of the things you're going to notice is that I take a ton of pictures. So realistically, for every one shot that I post, what I'm going to do is take probably about 20 shots. And it's different angles, different lighting, and putting in that extra bit of time really makes a huge difference. You'll find that you're a lot of times you think you get the shot and you just don't. And then for whatever reason, out of 15 shots, you'll see that one is clearly better than others are. So it's absolutely worth it to take some shots, go through them, and then if you don't like it, leave them set up so that you can go back and say, I think it might be much better if I did this, or I moved the arm a little bit. When you are taking the photos, it's good to get low. The closer you are to the eye level of the figure or below, the more it's going to look real. One of the biggest problems that amateur photographers for toys make is that they're taking their pictures high, like they're looking down on them, which instantly makes them feel smaller. So you can see the screen down in the bottom right hand corner, how low my angles are. Also, you might have noticed, so I'm just using my Android phone, nothing special. I did buy this one. I think it's the Galaxy S8. I bought this specifically for the camera. It has one of the best cameras on the market for camera phones. But I'm not doing anything special here. It's just about patience with them. As you pose your action figures, one of the things I love about the Marvel Legends is that they are so posable. That's how they originally were marketed. It's got 32 points of articulation. It's got double knees. It's things that never happened before. So take advantage of that. Use the waist. Do these twisting things. Try to make your photographs asymmetrical. So don't have both arms in the same position. Don't have both legs in the same position. Don't have them just standing there like soldiers. There's nothing that's very interesting about something just standing there doing nothing. So try to convey as much emotion as you possibly can with the various figures. And also, one of the things that is subtle, but it makes a huge difference, is where your action figure is looking. There's something about when you see eyes going a certain way, your eyes tend to go there. Right, when you think about if you're ever having a conversation with somebody and they look over your shoulder, you can't help but look to see what's going on. Or if you walk out and you see somebody looking up, you have to look up. So where you position their heads makes a huge difference in the emotion that you're going to get. And pay close attention to where it looks like their eyes are going. Depending on the ways that the eyes are painted, sometimes you'll have to put the figure's head down more than would seem natural to make it look like they're actually making eye contact. But if you don't do that, it's going to make it look like a mannequin is just looking off into space, like you put two plastic dolls in front of each other and that they're not as alive. One of the other things you'll see me do is a lot of times when I'm taking a picture, especially when I'm parallel with the light, I'll cover the phone with one of the hands. You think about the old cameras, how they had the lens protector. They had that lens guard on there that came out an inch or so. And really what that does is it reduces the glare. So it's a good idea to do that if you're using your camera phone as well. And just cup it a little bit, and you'll see that it looks a little bit richer when you're doing that. And in this particular pose, you'll see at the end what it looks like all put together. But in this particular pose, I'm trying to convey the the passion that Namor and Invisible Woman have, and then of course the anger. It looks like Thing is just throwing him around right now, and the fight scene that ensues. So when I first started taking pictures of action figures, it's the same thing over and over again. It's they're superheroes, so they fight, right? But one of the things that makes any comic book the most interesting is those human moments. If you boil it down to its essence, these are just regular people that happen to have fantastic powers. So if you can capture that, if you can capture the the little everyday things that happen that are not fantastic but happening to fantastic people, then you're going to create something truly special. And I don't know that I ever do it. I think, every now and then I come close to capturing something. But if that's what your goal is, if your goal is to convey emotion, then you're going to get to that more often, right? But that has to be where you're planning to go. You're not going to get there unless you actively think about, what, I want to create something that conveys something more than just pow, zowie, smack, that comic book stuff, that traditional comic book stuff, that's what people think about. And it's kind of the difference between a good Batman movie and a bad Batman movie, right? So you think about a good Batman movie like, let's say, the Christian Bale trilogy. And there you see the emotion that he goes through. You see the real aspect of it. You can put yourself into his shoes. And you think of a bad Batman movie, which of course would be, the Val Kilmer or the George Clooney movies, and it is exactly that pow, zowie kind of thing, where it's this comic book, larger than life, really fake neon. Nothing about it feels real, and therefore there is no. If it's not real, then there's no emotional investment. You know that nobody's going to die. You know that nobody's going to get hurt. Nobody's going to get changed for it. So, as much as that might be cool, it's kind of more of comic books for children, and these are already toys that I'm playing with. So I want to make it seem more like they're for adults and convey those real things. So here I'm having Namor punch the Thing. Again, you're seeing that there are so many different pictures. If you pay attention where I'm clicking to my phone, I am clicking away, and then not only are there shots that I don't use, but there's entire scenes that I'll create sometimes, and I realize they just don't flow the way I would want to, or the pace is wrong. So I'll take things and I'll labor on them and I'll set them up, and they didn't turn out the way I wanted them to turn out. And what's nice too is, since I've been collecting for so long, I have multiple figures. So if you notice, I started out with one Namor figure, and then I went to the traditional with the green underoos, and I swapped out my Invisible Woman for one that is clear. That one that was clear was they're both from the movie back that came out with Jessica Alba. And the first one that I'm using, I like a little bit more. It's got a little bit of clear parts, but mostly you can see it, and it's a pretty good likeness of Jessica Alba. This one was one of those ones that I don't love. It's more of a child's toy, so it has an action feature. You can see something sticking out of her back. I think water shoots out of her hands or something ridiculous like that. And consequently, because she's that way, she's very hard to pose. So I didn't get the effect that I was hoping for, and I swapped her out for the other figure again. Just because, even though she's not fully powered in her invisible mode, she's can convey so much more with the way that you can pose her. And what's interesting too is photography. Any kind of good photography is a bit of trickery. So you take these pictures of things that are ridiculous. So here I'm holding up a plastic cone. I don't know where it came from. I'm sure it was part of a wrapping for something, maybe even a Christmas ornament for all I know. And you take these things, and depending on where you aim your camera, it really becomes something that you wouldn't expect. And I'm always amazed when I see on the internet these photos that they show you how they were actually made, and they show you these beautiful misty photos, and just off camera there's somebody who's blowing pipe smoke into the model's face, or somebody who's literally holding a branch, or somebody who's crouched on their knees to get a certain effect. So use that to your advantage. And one of the things that kind of sells it is if in a previous photo you show things that are not being held, you show them looking the way they would normally look, and then you show a close-up on it, the eye will kind of be tricked into thinking that that is a real thing. It'll not realize that your hand is holding it just off camera. Of course, if you think about it, you can piece it together, but it's you don't instantly tell. And when you're posing these things, try to become a student of body language. You can convey a lot through body language. And you think about it, you can tell from 100 paces whether someone's sad, or if they're happy, or if they're excited. You can look at how their shoulders are slumped. Obviously, you can't get the full range of human motion with the action figures, but you can fake it pretty good. Head down in the palm of your hands, that means you're crying in your hands. That means it no matter what culture you're from, right? Either that or you're sneezing. So do those little things that are going to make it look much more real. So here we're coming up on the final product. Tell me what you think. Well, that was it. Thanks for watching. And as always, click subscribe. And remember, respect your shelf.